Yo, what is up guys? It is Samool back again with another Epic 7 tier list for you guys today. And today we're going to be updating a tier list that I haven't really touched on in the past almost half of a year or so. And that tier list is going to be ranking all of the 3-star units that I think are viable right now in PvE in a tier list. Now, we're not going to be including every single 3-star unit in the game because as they are 3-star units and very accessible, a lot of these units are not going to be that viable, and it's just kind of pointless to just talk about why they're unviable. So we kind of just reduced it to about like 18 units. We have 6 units in each tier. Now keep in mind that this is my own opinion. You're allowed to disagree, but from what I've seen personally, and especially because I've seen a lot of newer players with their account progressing, this is what I've seen to be the best 3-star units for PvE, even into the late game when you're starting to farm harder content. So starting off, we're going to have the S tier units. These units are either going to be used in so many areas of content, or they're just extremely OP at what they do. A tier units a little bit weaker than S tier, going to be used in a little bit less areas of content, or if there are only 1 areas of content that they're used in, or even 2, then they're going to be a little bit weaker than the S tier units. Next, we have the B tier units. These units are going to be okay for the most part, but you're going to kind of want to stay away from these. And if there are other 3-star units on this list that you don't see, then they're probably just not that good at all. You don't really want to invest in them. Now, there are going to be a lot of other niche 3-star units you can use in certain areas, but for the most part, not really worth investing into. All these units on this list, you can get to 6 stars and they'll be very good. The other ones, you're definitely not going to want to get to 6 stars at all. Starting off the S tier, we have the main character of the game, probably the most broken unit in PvE right now, if that's free to play. That is Adventurer Ross. So he's extremely powerful in a lot of areas of content. He's good in expeditions, he's very good in golem hunt, Azmanak hunt. You can also use him in Katie's hunt. He's very strong, very good in abyss, very good in PvP as well. This is PvE focused, so we're not going to talk about that too much. And he is extremely good in adventure mode, just pretty much anywhere you need a solid tank that can make your team tankier and also has a defense break, then Adventure Ross is definitely the unit for you. He is super powerful. Next, we have Angelic Montmorency. So honestly, these 2 units are going to be pretty much tied for first. Angelic Montmorency, also very good in PvE. You can basically take her everywhere. It doesn't really matter about the element because of the fact that she is super good at cleansing. She can cleanse every turn, and she can also heal a decent amount as well if you can actually cycle her turns fast enough. Very powerful in Wyvern Hunt, probably the best tank in the game for Wyvern right now if you're newer to the game. And also she's extremely good everywhere. You can use her in Fire Expo, you can use her in Abyss, she's very good there. You can use her in Raid, you can use her in Hall of Trials, just anywhere that you need a cleanser and a healer. She is the best unit for that build. You'll often see her paired with another Soul Weaver such as Tamarin. Next, we have Commando Arena. This is one of the best single target DPSs in the game because of the fact that she hits super hard, single target wise, and also because her S2 gives her stacking attack. Works very similarly to Landy if you have Landy, which makes her very strong in long battles. And as you guys probably know, pretty much all of PvE is going to be a very long fight, which makes her super strong. She also has no debuffs, so against bosses that have a debuff restriction, such as like Hell Queen and stuff like that, you don't have to worry because she won't be applying debuffs such as, other DPS units that are very good, like Seaside Blona and stuff like that. Next, we have Kiris. So Kiris, you guys might be surprised because you've never seen her, but that's only because she's only really used in Abyss. But let me tell you, in Abyss, guys, she is the best Abyss unit in the game. If you pair her with like a Dizzy or something that can extend debuffs, she's super powerful. She can make work of every single floor basically from 1 to 107, I believe. There are going to be some restrictions to that, but for the most part, you're going to use her in about like 95 out of those 107-ish floors. Extremely powerful because she has poisons, like a lot of poisons, and she can extend debuffs. The reason why poisons are so good for Abyss, guys, is because poison scales with the boss's max HP, and Abyss bosses have super crazy high health. So what you do is you just bring Kiris with like 3 Soul Weavers and Knights, and you just have her just slowly whittle away at the boss. And by slowly, I mean fast, because using Kiris with 3 Soul Weavers and Knights is actually faster than running a normal team comp, and is a lot safer because of that reason. Next, we have Falconer Clary, guys. Super powerful tank, very good at defense breaking, has a lot of healing for her team. She's a little bit lower than Adventurer Ross, though, because Adventurer Ross can also defense buff his team, and also can dual attack and stuff like that, and also has a more consistent strip on his S1. But Falconer Clary still very powerful. Even some people might rank her above Kiris, but I probably would recommend Aros over Falconer Clary in a lot of areas of content. The only areas of content where Falconer Clary is a little bit better is going to be like Expedition, like Dark Expedition and stuff like that. But if you're looking for a very, very consistent defense breaker, especially in hard areas of content where you want to manual it, you can actually use Falconer Clary and Soulburn and S3 with her, and she's super, super strong. Next, we have, at the end of the S tier, we have Terranor Guard. So this unit might seem a little weird to be here because he's like a bucket head and he's kind of like useless and stuff like that from what it looks like. But he's still very, very strong. He's one of the best damage dealers in the game, similar to Commander Lorena. Very powerful in Fire Expedition, very good in Wyvern if you want to use him there. But he's super, super, super strong in Abyss and Ancient Inheritance. Once you get to the super hard Abyss floors, he is the best damage dealing unit. You just build a team comp around him that dual attacks. Also very good in Hall of Trials. He's just the best unit to abuse with dual attacks, and he is the easiest way to actually get through the harder stages of Abyss. Now that summarizes the S tier, guys. Let's get into the A tier. These units are still very good, but just not as universal as the S tier units. So leading off the A tier, guys, we have Aiden, the main character of episode 4. Now she's extremely powerful. We're going to be talking about basically all of her specialty change forms combined. Very good in Expedition. She's just a very good defense breaker in general. You can use her in Expeditions, even in Hunts I've seen her. And she's also just very good as a general damage dealing unit. The only reason why she's not in the S tier is because she's not going to be the best in any area of content. She's just an extremely solid unit, kind of like a jack of all trades. And for that reason, we have her at the A tier. Next, we have Mui, Wyvern exclusive unit, but so good in Wyvern. Because of this unit's release, actually, it made the gear requirements for getting into Wyvern and effectively just getting into Epic 7 a lot lower. And with him, you know, it just makes farming Wyvern so easy, especially if you're new to the game. You just need, you know, any sets really, and you're pretty much good to go. You don't need crazy gear anymore to get into Wyvern 13. Camilla, guys, this unit is super underrated. Very good as a damage dealing unit, kind of similar to how like Commander Lorena works, but she's also very good in Hunt one shot. I guess Commander Lorena is also good there, but Commander Lorena is better in other areas of content. Camilla is only going to really be used in one shot comps, but you can definitely still use her as a solid damage dealing unit. Next, we have Mercenary Helga. She's super powerful in Ice Expedition. Everywhere else, she's kind of like a solid defense breaking unit, and for that reason, we have her in the B tier. Alexa, guys, solid Wyvern unit, but you're only going to really use her there. But Alexa does make your Wyvern run super fast because of her crazy high damage from her S1 if you turn her skills off. Honestly, if you want to make a super fast Wyvern team, but you don't have the gear to start one-shotting it yet, Alexa teams are your best bet. You just run like Alexa, Furious, and Sigrid, and your teams and your runs will be super quick. Next, rounding out the A tier, we have Mascot Hazel. This unit is super underrated because we have Tamarin in the game, and Tamarin is kind of like a jack of all trades soul weaver, kind of does similarly to what Mascot Hazel does. But Mascot Hazel is actually better than Tamarin in all fire team comps. So in like Golem, in like Earth Expedition, Mascot Hazel is actually the best soul weaver there. The thing is, Tamarin, you just slap her on any piece of gear and you can bring her everywhere. That's why everyone uses her. But if you want to min-max Expeditions and Golem Hunt, Mascot Hazel is your best option as Soul Weaver. Now getting into the B tier units, guys. So B tier units still decent. You know, they still made the cut on the list, but just keep in mind they're not going to be as crazy strong as the A and S tier units. Now Lena, guys, you guys might be surprised that she's here. She's an old school unit. She was a very good AoE farming unit. Still very good at that. So if you pick Spectre Tenebria from your selective summon, if you have your Lena built, she can farm Adventure very quickly for you. Next, we have Zealot Carmen Rose. Very powerful unit in Light Expedition. Besides that, not really good anywhere else anymore. But because she's good in Light Expo, she's very powerful because Light Expedition is the hardest expedition to get into because of how many crazy units you require. But Zealot Carmen Rose makes your gear requirements on that expedition very low, especially if you're aiming just to get 350k, so you can start doing open recruitment. You just slap her in there with Adventure Ross and whatever damage dealers, and you should be able to beat that 350k milestone. Next, we have SC Arrowell. So mostly going to be used in PvP only. She's extremely powerful in PvP, but in PvE you can use her in like Azamnak and stuff like that, and she's still very good. Only thing is, I don't really know why you'd ever use her over Adventure Ross and Falconer Clary because they kind of do what she does, but better in PvE. I guess you can use her if you need more damage mitigation with Escort and your team's dying more, but for the most part, you know, usable, but not the best. Next, we have Captain Ricker. So this unit is actually pretty good in like Hades and also Azamnak, especially for free-to-play options. So you can definitely slot him in there. but you're eventually going to stop using him because he doesn't do that much damage. His modifiers are pretty crappy, so you're going to have to swap him out eventually, but for a starter team, he's good, so I put him in the B tier. Next, we have Sonya, the Soul Weaver chick. You guys might be wondering why she's here, but she's very, very good in a lot of Abyss Floors, kind of similar to Curious. She has super high cleansing, very similar to Angelic Montmorency. She's also very good in Hell Raid against the Julie Council. So if you guys are looking for more cleansers more than Angelic Montmorency, because honestly Angelic Montmorency alone is not enough, Sonya is a good free-to-play option for that. Just keep in mind, you know, she's not going to be used for that long, so you definitely want to just keep her at 5 stars, but I found her to be very good on my free-to-play account when I was looking for another cleanser alongside Angelic Montmorency because she cycles super quickly and can also put out immunity. Next, we have Yunryung, guys. You know, honestly not that great of a unit, but she has a defense break, so that makes her like okay. I've seen people use her in Katie's and even Light Expo, but for the most part, definitely don't want to, you know, build her too much because of the fact that she gets replaced super quickly. I think Yunryung and also Sonya, probably the 2 worst units by a long margin on this list, but I kind of wanted to make it super even here in 6, and 6, so I decided to add them to the list because I thought they are the most qualified to make the tier list. Now, if there are any units that you guys think are better and should be on this list instead, let me know in the comments down below. I do update these tier lists pretty often, and I do plan to update them more often because usually I plan to update them once every season, but I've been kind of busy lately, so we'll definitely be updating a lot of the prior tier lists that I've released in the past because there have been a lot of changes to units, a lot of buffs and nerfs, and also just meta shifts and stuff like that. So for that reason, I'll be updating more tier lists in the near future. That being said, hope you guys found this video helpful, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and peace.